seconds. We should be live on Periscope, Twitter, and YouTube in a matter of moments. Zappy, man, this is gonna be big. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this. Let's go. Things are gonna happen. It's gonna be a big deal. Sup, Books, Clutch Kid, Iowa. Let's trade Bled to Denver. Man, oh man, this is just a lot. This is just so much. What's up, AZ Deuce? Oh man, I feel like AZ Deuce would be what our governor, what his Periscope tag would be if he's just trying to sneak around like Kevin Durant. Doug Ducey. All right, today we start with Moutier for the win. We're going to start with the big news. We're just going to wait another 40 seconds. We're going to start with the big news, wait another 40 seconds. I got a good feeling he would be good here. I didn't catch who he said who would be good. So the big news, of course, is Eric Bledsoe. So that's the big news. But obviously we have a lot more. We have so much. Moutier and Booker would be nice. Yes, a lot of people have been wanting Moutier all summer. You know what? I was in that camp too. We very well could win the game today. Sacramento, not that good. And we're gonna go right up to the Sacramento to the tip-off. Just about. We're gonna go up to 7 o'clock. Team Zazo, what's up? He's my favorite player on the team too. Is Moutier? All right, so it's been 90 seconds. Welcome to Valley of the Suns Live. My name is Adam Maines, your site editor. I am just, you know what, so much has gone on in the last 48 hours, I don't even know where to start, but I am going to start with Eric Bledsoe. To me, that is the big news. You know, what sucks is that, you know, for 12 minutes, I have that answer. I'll let you know in a moment. So, Bledsoe's holding us back very well. I said, money the Manimal this summer, too. That would be cool. I would take Manimal, too. We need some defense. Then he could just kind of let Alex Len just float away in the wind like a giant, you know, 7'1" Croatian sail. Is that a thing? Anyway, so, you know, for 12 minutes, the big news was Eric Bledsoe tweeted out, I want to be out of here. And that lasted 12 minutes because within, you know, less than 15 minutes, all of a sudden, it was announced that Earl Watson was fired. But what up, y'all, with the Suns and the Super Team? We're so much closer now. He was at a hair salon. Exactly. So, you know what? All right, I want to let my opinion be known immediately and about how the Suns are handling this. This irritates me, and I'm actually really tired of people saying, well, you know, it's the Suns' fault, it's Sarver's fault. I don't know how this would be Sarver's fault. Well, it's Ryan McDonough's fault. I don't really know how, and here's why. The team, well, they still could. He still could, but he's got 6 hours left in the day. The team essentially announced, we're tanking last year. Now, Bledsoe wasn't happy with that. Earl Watson wasn't happy with that. I wasn't happy with that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people weren't happy. Okay, so we get that, but everybody knew that was the plan. And everybody knew at the trade, you know, at the draft, the Suns were looking to trade Eric Bledsoe. They were just looking for the right trade. And, okay, it didn't happen. That was kind of disappointing. I think a lot of people were just ready to move on. Well, hold on before you say fire Ryan McDonough. I think a lot of people were ready to move on. The Suns probably were ready to move on. You know, maybe Eric Bledsoe was, at that moment, already ready to move on. All right, so fine. So fine, he was ready to move on. He knows the plan. More importantly, he's an adult under contract. I don't care if you're under contract for $50 a day or for, what is he, $14 million a year. He's under contract. You have to respect that contract. He is my favorite player. He is wasting his prime with the Phoenix Suns right now. I don't deny that, but he still has to wait his time. He's still only 27, and I know when you're 27 years old, you just feel like, you know, if something doesn't go your way, then, you know, the world's going to end. I'm going to die tomorrow. No, you're not. You got, God willing, at least another 50 years left, and by, you know, American national death averages, at least 56 to 57 years left. So in my opinion, I'm just, you know, it was just like, okay, that was a super, super immature thing to say. You knew the Suns were trying to trade you. He apparently, it came out today that he was told in the preseason, we are trying to trade you, because he went to the Suns apparently twice. Excuse me. Went to the Suns twice and said, you know, get me out of here. And they said, we're working on it, but, you know, they're not going to just dump him for a second-round pick because, oh, Eric Bledsoe, he said he wanted to leave, so let's just get rid of him. That's not going to freaking happen. No team would ever do that. He knows this. So when he sends out that tweet, here's what really pisses me off, and this is actually where I think that the Suns are wrong. This is where I do put the blame on Ryan McDonough and on Robert Sarver, especially since Robert Sarver has seemed to have disappeared. I mean, he should be the face of this whole thing, but all right, he's not. Okay, he hired Ryan McDonough to take care of this. Maybe, you know, Earl Watson's firing was all Ryan McDonough. Anyway, not Robert Sarver, so we'll see. You know, that'll all come out, and that's good. That's what he hired him for. He hired him to do this, to make these decisions. But regardless, The fault that I have with the Phoenix Suns, with Ryan McDonough, with Robert Sarver, is this. I would have told Eric Bledsoe that was stupid, that was immature. We are going to request, and maybe require, maybe it's possible to require, that you do not use social media for the rest of the time that you're on the Phoenix Suns. But now here's the other thing. You are going to play, and if we feel like you are holding this team back, if we feel like you're slouching, if we feel like you're not being a professional, earning $14 freaking million a year, then we're gonna suspend you and fine you. I was so annoyed when I heard Ryan McDonough's his press conference, and I heard his voice. He goes, "Well," and I don't believe, and I paraphrase him. He goes, "I don't believe that he was telling us the truth about that hair salon," which I've seen a bunch of guys say. Did you tell him that? Which, you know, I saw on Twitter that yes, they did tell him. Well, we don't believe you. But what you do is say, okay, kid, you want to act like a kid? We're going to treat you like one. You're grounded. This isn't go home and get paid, and now you win, because, I mean, that's terrible parenting. I'm a father. A lot of you guys are parents. What do you do when a kid screws up? You don't say, oh, shucks, here's some ice cream. No, you send him to the room. You know, you punish him on some level. Now, his punishment would have been, should have been, and still should be to play. That should be his punishment. Go earn that $14 million that we were paying you, or however much is being paid per game, just based on the proration, pro rating and everything. Ryan McDonough today should have said, no, they raised me right. Ryan McDonough said that, well, you know, we didn't like this, we don't believe him, so we sent him home. He wins! Eric Bledsoe wins, and now you are forced to make a trade, which I still think will work out for the Suns, because he's too valuable a player for the Suns to just dump for 2 second-round picks. And the thing is, you know, I mean, I compared to the post that I wrote earlier today, you know, Kyrie Irving forced the Cleveland Cavaliers' hands. And yes, he is a superstar. But okay, punish him to a crappy team, but I mean, you still have to do what's best for the Phoenix Suns. It is all about the name on the front of the jersey, not on the name on the back. So, I mean, for the sake of argument, he goes to Cleveland. So his punishment for acting immaturely, people thought that he quit on the Suns in L.A. against the Clippers. I mean, what did he score? 4 points? I forget off the top of my head. People thought he quit on the Suns right there. He then sends out that stupid-ass subtweet. That's what it was. That was a subtweet. Remember when LeBron James was subtweeting about Kevin Love? I mean, what the hell is that? This is this new age of media that I live on. I mean, don't get me wrong. But it's just so stupid to have seen this subtweet, and then for the Suns to go, well, we don't believe that you're at a hair salon. Duh! I mean, that was the point. He wanted to use that as his little childish kind of his excuse. So you send him home. He's still getting paid. Now if you send him to Cleveland, for the sake of argument, he goes to Cleveland. Now he's on a championship contending team, all because he acted like a child. So to me, not only is that the problem with the Phoenix Suns, with Ryan McDonough and with Robert Sarver, is that they aren't making this up, Matthew. You're so grounded. Not only are they now looking like they're letting a petulant child win. Bledsoe shot 4 shots against the Clippers. He quit on us exactly. Suns organization stuff was out. I don't agree, but I think this is terrible on their part. You missed one Monday and see what happens. Exactly. I do apologize for that. That was a medical emergency in my family. I love you all, family first. I'm just saying that. All right, so he tells like this all the time. I yell, come on. Who should Bledsoe be traded for? Bledsoe I don't know. I mean, there's a ton of options. I want that Brooklyn pick, and if I were the Suns, I would give them Marquise Chris. I would give them, I want that pick. Big. Apparently, and I even retweeted this earlier today, that the Knicks have no interest in trading Frank the Tank. So we'll see. I mean, that could have been posturing. Who knows? Bledsoe deserves better. He is at the peak of his organization. But he deserves better. Why? How? He's being paid $14 million to play a child's game. Now we're going to trade Bledsoe. We're not going to get him. We still could. Tell it to Bledsoe. Let's get Giannis. I wish. Brooklyn is doing good right now. I would still take that pick. That's my point. Don't give him what he wants. Who wants to go to the contender? Yes, get the best deal. I don't care where he goes. Who should be our next head coach? Okay, I do want to talk about head coaches first, but I want to finish this little rant about Eric Bledsoe because it's already been. So, I'm looking at this like the Suns let him win. Oh, I would take, if we could get a package that includes Jahlil Okafor, I would be psyched about that. I like to see Mike James he is getting a shot. Denver, the Bucks have best assets. Probably, I would go with Denver, in my opinion, because I don't think the Bucks want to send us anybody that we want. Kevin McHale is the running option. That would be interesting. I will get to coaching in 5 seconds, I promise. He shouldn't be our starter, and I believe that Tyler Ulis will be starting soon. He is good, though. He is a good backup. The Suns just let Eric Bledsoe win, and that really is what ticks me off. But what also bothers me is the fact that people say, well, this is a constant thing for the Suns. Markieff Morris, Goran Dragic, Isaiah Thomas, now Eric Bledsoe. Why are all their stars Okay, well, first off, Markieff Morris brought that entire thing upon himself when he and his brother beat somebody up, and the Suns went, we got to get rid of you guys. Then the Suns thought they had a chance to get LaMarcus Aldridge, so they traded Marcus. And what was Markieff's problem? Well, you didn't call me. Who cares? How is that the Suns' fault that they didn't call you about your older, your 5 minute, your older brother? So the Markieff Morris thing, that he and the Morris twins brought that upon themselves, because if you guys remember, and if people seem to have already forgotten, that the Suns brought Marcus to placate Markieff. They thought, we think Marcus and Markieff will each play better if they play together. So they brought the family together, and then the family goes and beats somebody up. And now really talk about letting people act like babies and get away with it. Well, it's the fact that the court system let them off. They beat somebody up and they get let off. So anyway, so the Markieff Morris thing, that is a unique situation on its own. Now Goran Dragic, Isaiah Thomas. Looking back, again, the Suns screwed that up, but they screwed that up, in my opinion, by not, obviously sharing their plans with the guards. And the thing is, you really can't entirely, but if you are here locally, John Garmadaro stated regularly that Isaiah Thomas was going to be traded. He was going to be traded. So when it came to that three-headed guard monster, they were going to trade one of them by the February trade deadline. So that was going to happen. So then all of a sudden, Goran Dragic now flips out, and people go, wait a second, why is Goran Dragic having an issue? He was the starting point guard. So why is he having an issue? I know the treasure's dropped. That's what ticks me off. So why is he having an issue? So he then acted immaturely. Whereas if you waited 3 more days, if I recall, maybe it was like 5 days, Thomas was, according to Gambo, was going to be gone. So then the backcourt was going to go back to Goran Dragic and Eric Bledsoe, which worked for them and Jeff Hornacek the year before. So again, I mean, that situation, it's just weird. Yes, that was the Suns' fault by putting those 3 guys together and not sharing a plan. And the plan obviously wasn't entirely well thought through. There's no doubt about that. But in the defense of Isaiah Thomas and him coming to the Suns, obviously the guy is damn good. So obviously they did a good job in scouting talent and getting him on the team. But moreover, he was also the best, if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, but he was definitely one of, if not the best free agent available. The Suns had a dearth, so teams at that point then had a dearth of point guards. So teams in the league knew, if we need a point guard, hey, go to the Suns. And the Suns were going to be able to play those guys off. In my opinion, that's good business. You had 2 very good assets, you added a third, and now you've got a plethora of very good, if not great, assets at one position. So then, teams around the league go, I need a point guard. The Suns have 3 of them. I know that I can get one of them. I just give them the right deal. Boom. The trading of those 3 to break them up, that's seems to have sucked, although it doesn't seem to have actually sucked that bad. You cannot blame Brandon Knight's injury on the Suns and on that trade at all. That's just a fluke. I mean, the Suns, in their history, have drafted guys, traded for guys who just got hurt, boom. And everything made sense on paper, then it just doesn't work out. Injuries, you cannot blame. It's flukish, it sucks, and it really, really does suck for the Suns. It sucks for Brandon Knight. I feel bad for that kid, because I really thought he was going to work really hard this year to try to prove himself. He wants to. I want to see him back on the court. But that's what really, it sucks that we had to trade that Lakers pick. But I'll tell you, that pick still hasn't come due. It would be coming due. It will come due to Philadelphia next year. It does not look like it's going to be that great. It's, would you take a 3rd first-round pick next year? Yeah, of course, because if nothing else, you can use those to package and move up. So that really does suck. But it ended up, and this is, again, by chance. There's no way that Ryan McDonough could have known this. And if he didn't know it or predicted it, the circumstances around that pick fading in value because of how the Lakers have built themselves, that was totally we had no clue. I mean, nobody knew who Lonzo Ball was a year ago. 12 months ago, nobody knew. And so, therefore, it looked like that Lakers pick was going to be really damn good. It ends up looking like it won't be that great. So, the Suns, in the end, didn't end up getting destroyed. It just, initially, was just like, you're trading a high lottery protected pick that in 2018 is going to be totally unprotected. It's just like, why would you do that? He made the wrong move on that. There's no doubt. But nobody could have expected Brandon Knight to have sucked as bad as he did when he was here and playing, and then certainly nobody could have ever expected him to have gotten hurt. I mean, that's just crappy. So then we move forward in line, and yes, I know I'm making excuses for the Suns, but you do have to look at these from these individual settings, and in my opinion, none of them really shine that poorly on what the Suns were trying to do. They were trying to do the right thing, that emotions and egos and immaturities got in the way. And eventually, we get to Eric Bledsoe. And again, the Suns were trying to trade him. But it's up to Ryan McDonough to, trade for and to do what's best for the name on the front, for the name on that blanket, for the name that the very reason that we are here. It is his best to do what is best for the Suns. And if holding Eric Bledsoe for a few more months, which, again, I cite John Gamadello, 98.7 AZ, Arizona Sports. I cite him and say, he's been saying for several weeks now that I expect Eric Bledsoe to be gone by December. So you're telling me that on October 22nd, Eric Bledsoe could not have waited another 6 weeks to get traded, and the Suns could have got that trade that they wanted, whatever that would be, and he'd be gone? Instead, he has to force their hand. He has to be sent home, which, again, I say is the absolute wrong deal. And, and this is somehow the Suns' fault? No. Should they have traded in the offseason? Sure. Well, I'm telling you, Suns boy, I am telling you. Should they have traded in this offseason? Absolutely. Probably. Presumably. We now know today, yes, because we realize that in Eric Bledsoe's heart, he's still an immature child. And that's what this is. That tweet was immature. There's no other explanation for that thing. So the Suns should have traded him. There's no arguing that. But at the same time, if they didn't get the trade that they wanted, or they felt like, and Ryan McDonough gets paid a lot of money to make these decisions and hope that he gets them right, and they felt like that at some point they could get more, and again, Gabo was saying by December, he's going to be gone, then, what is it to the Suns to say, well, now Eric Bledsoe wants out of here, so let's get him go? No! That's stupid business. So, alright, I've not been reading. The front office wouldn't know talent for something in the face. Come on, give me a break. Devin Booker is very good. Tyler Ulis is very good. Devin Booker is very good, but for a second or third pick in the second round, he's very good. Dragon Bender looks like he's going to be a hell of a defensive player. He just needs to be trained better. They finally have the worst head coach in the NBA out of there, which is this topic we're going to go to next, and that's going to definitely help in his maturation. Marquise Chris still appears like he could be good if somebody could just slap him across the face and go, what the hell are you doing? And Josh Jackson looks like he's going to be great if he doesn't start shooting air guns at people in the stands. But, these guys, none of them, not one of these young kids that Ryan McDonough has drafted looks like on the surface they are 100% guaranteed to be a bust. They all seem to have a lot of positives to them. So to say that they don't know what talent is if it's slapped in the face, that's absolutely incorrect. Let's call Bledsoe what he is, a good role player on a good team. No, he is a very good player. He's a very good point guard. He's not elite. But, again, look at his stats as compared to Kyrie Irving. His stats are very, very similar. They're not as good. Kyrie is a much better shooter. But his stats are still very relative, very, very close. A trade for Jaleel or Russell. I would take both of those. I've been calling for both. I've been calling for Jaleel Okafor for the last 18 months. I would take D'Angelo Russell in a heartbeat. In fact, I would prefer Russell over Okafor just because of the Devin Booker connection. But that being said, we couldn't have had Blake Griffin. No, because he could get more with LA, which is all he wanted. He wanted more money. I blame Earl for a lot. Jerry Stackhouse should be the number one target. Maybe. I didn't see that. I remember. I don't know. Resend that. Bender looks solid right now. He does. He has the most energy. Plays the best defense. Markelle for Bledsoe. What can I wish? Yeah, well, I would take Fultz, yeah. But they're the same player, too. What's up with the University of Southern California? I don't know. I live in Arizona. Bled probably going to dinner. Could be. But Bledsoe can't run an offense and can't shoot. So the problem is that he's just too isocentric. And the problem that I had with Earl Watson's offense is that he allowed that to happen. He allowed this team to be isocentric. And I wrote about this a ton last year. For the longest time, the Phoenix Suns were the 7th most ISO scoring team in the league. 7th. Who in the hell on that roster, even Devin Booker, who in the hell deserves to be that isolationist? None of them. Not yet, at least. We have not had a dominating power forward since Amari. Yeah, well, they're difficult to come by. I'm not going to lie. Our whole team was ISO. Yes, but that's the offense. That's the offense. Okay, so now let's move on to the second big topic. By the way, people have been asking why isn't Tyler Ulis starting tonight. I saw on Twitter that it's because he's still dealing with a nagging injury. So I guess he's still just not 100% healed. He had a surgery over the offseason. He's still, recovering. So they're starting Tyler Ulis, and I don't know if that's exactly why Earl Watson benched him the other day, or why he's not starting today. But it does appear. A lot of people have been saying Mark Jackson, but I've been hearing a lot that Mark Jackson should not be the next Suns head coach because he's a very philosophical guy like Earl Watson, and so the comps would just be it would be messed up. All right, so real quick, we're 20 minutes in. This is just flying by, but please like, Please retweet. Please share. This is on YouTube, too. If you prefer to watch this on YouTube, we're streaming live on YouTube. I see people watching. You can comment there. You can share that, of course. I would take Kevin McHale-Matthew in a heartbeat. I would take Dan Marley over everybody. I just don't think there's a chance in hell he wants to come here. Okay, so wait a second. Who scores 136? That's what I want to know. Who is winning by 58 freaking points? Thibs, when we had a chance. I would have loved him. Remember when we got Porter? Oh, my gosh, that was horrible. But that was not Roberts. That was not Ryan McDonough. Denver with the Bucks. Yes. Kings. Oh, jeez. You're saying we lose by 58? No. I would have taken PJ Tucker back. Again, please like, please retweet, please favorite. So now the second big news is the fact that, and I wish I could play, you know, a song here. I just have nothing ready to go. Leave Booker on the ball. Dude, who said that? JMR. Ryan didn't want to give it the power for the no Thibs. Yeah, possibly. Well, thank God Chris is starting again. Yeah, thank God. We need Nash. Oh, boy, I'd love to have Nash back in development. I wish that I could play a song, but I want to just say goodbye, sayonara, peace. I am so over and done with Earl Watson. Excuse me. So over Earl Watson. I haven't for a long time. You guys know this. I think it was the worst coach in the National Basketball Association. I think it was the worst coach in Arizona sports history. I think it was the worst coach in Phoenix Suns history in particular. And Rush would be a player. That would be really cool, Prime. That would be very cool. I would take Amari Stoudemire back as player development for Marquise Morris. Absolutely. I don't know what he wants to do with his NBA career, with his future basketball career, but that would absolutely do. How do we lose the Lakers? Yes, worst coach by far. And the biggest thing is that there was no offensive consistency. There was no defensive consistency. They didn't seem to even know how to play defense, which just doesn't make any sense. You don't know how. There's one thing about not being very good at it, but then there's another to just not know what the hell you're doing. Obviously, his rotations didn't make any sense. I do like that Jay Triano is going back to more of a traditional starting lineup. I am not a traditional, starting lineup or rotational guy. I really do want to have Devin Booker running the point, but it didn't really make a whole lot of sense to have Josh Jackson and TJ Warren starting at the 3 or 4 and having Marquise benched. Now, I'm not a Marquise Morris fan yet. I want to be. I sincerely, truly do. In fact, and I even saw this and retweeted on Twitter, I would put Dragon Bender at starting power forward and then have Tyson Chandler at the 5, and then when you rotate Chandler out, then move Bender to the 5 and bring Chris into the 4. I would do that. I still have been saying that I want to have Devin Booker running that point for the rest of this year. They need to just get him, it's just learn by, what would be the term? Put his feet to the fire, throw him to the wolves, whatever I mean. No. No. What did I say? Oh, did I say Marquise Morris? My bad. Yeah, Marquise Chris. My bad. Okay. I was like, why are you guys correcting me? What did I say? Yeah, so I would start Tyson Chandler at the 5, I would put Dragon Bender at the 4, and then when you rotate Chandler out, then I would put Dragon at the 5, and I would put Marquise Chris at the 4. Benner, exactly. Benner needs to start. Yes, please. Yes, okay. You guys all got me. I'm sorry. I'm speaking. I'm just, got so much going on. Baby steps. Have to start all over and teach NBA fundamentals. Yes. But, okay, so now if you're going to start all over, then I think you should start all over and do something radical and revolutionary. Thank you, Kurt. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. I love you. I do this for you. I love this so much. I would do something radical and revolutionary. And maybe I would start Dragon Bender at the 5 too. I'm not even against that at all. But what I'm saying is I would have Devin Booker starting at point. And then you know, at that point, and you think maybe there's a chance that TJ Warren could even play shooting guard. And again, in the non-traditional sense, I wouldn't want that. But hey, even Mike James at the 2, because he's not a point guard. He's not. He is a shooting guard. The Suns are going to have just as many isolation problems with Mike James at point as they did with Eric Bledsoe, because he is a shoot first, get me my shot first, and if it doesn't happen, then I'll look to dish, and then everything's all out of whack. So I would start Devin Booker at the point, maybe put Mike James at the 2, and then, do Warren or Jackson, although they're starting Warren, which I think is the right call because he's just a better scorer so far. And then put Bender and Chandler. Or Chris and Bender. But I would do something from that perspective. But Booker's kind of like that, though. What do you think? No, okay. Not necessarily. He's not as bad. Okay, so I think... I kind of feel like... Maybe I'm being a little bit of a homer. Maybe I just love Devin Booker too much. I don't know. But I do love Eric Bledsoe. But what I'll say, though, is that, Booker looks like he tries to score because he's starting to sense, damn, maybe I really am this good. And he's kind of thinking, I need to be Kobe Bryant for this team to win. He's been told he's the second coming of Kobe Bryant. How many times has he mentioned conversations with Kobe Bryant? I mean, for him, that's been a really big deal. And it's been a connection that we've all bought into, like, oh my gosh, maybe it's the next Kobe Bryant. So I get this feeling when he has the ball that he's starting to believe, I need to be the guy that went to win these games. And that was the problem that Michael Jordan had. I'm not comparing him to Michael Jordan's talent-wise, but just in kind of mindset. Yeah, and he scores 70, exactly. So now that's really going like, wow, even Michael never scored 70. So, you know, I just get the sense that he's kind of going, this has to be on my shoulders. You know, maybe I can't trust everybody else. Whereas Eric Bledsoe, his game seems to be a little bit more of just a get my points first, pass it later. He just was not a true point guard in that sense. Now, yes, now Frank would be a good fit here. Now, go back and look at Devin Booker's rookie records, because we remember Bledsoe got hurt, and then it was Brandon Knight as the starting point guard, and then Brandon Knight got hurt. Booker had more, either more or equal to, if I recall. And somebody can double check this for me. Go to basketball-reference.com. His rookie year, Booker ended up having just as many double-digit assist games in like 20 games as the starting point guard as Eric Bledsoe had in his prior 40, or something to that effect. I mean, he had as many, if not more, double-digit assist games, Devin Booker did, than Eric Bledsoe had all season. Remember, Eric Bledsoe only had like 12 double-digit assist games in his entire career in Phoenix. So Bledsoe has never been like a true point guard, a true pass first, set the offense up. Whereas I think Booker, because Booker might be thinking he's Kobe Bryant, he also thinks he can be just as great a point guard as he can be a scorer. I could absolutely be homering, reading into this incorrectly, but I really think that it just appears when you're watching him, it just looks like that's what's going on in his mind is, I got to do this. And I think if he thinks I got to do this and I can do this really well, then I think then too, he would say the same thing and react the same way as playing point. And he's a good point guard. His statistics proved it his rookie year. So, I mean, I would give him that responsibility now. I would start that now. I would get him playing the point guard for the next 79 games, unless he gets hurt, and say, you are running point, figure it out. You know, let's teach you. Don't just figure it out, but let's teach you. Let's make you a point guard. And why I think that would be so radical and revolutionary is because what the Golden State Warriors are just doing one time, well, we're sharing their time zone right now, but in California, in San Francisco, Steph Curry is not a traditional true point guard. He is absolutely a scorer first, and he's a much better scorer than almost anybody, certainly his size in the league. So if Devin Booker does keep taking those steps up, and at 20 years old, he turns 21 in 1 week, we can wish Devin Booker, I believe it's next Monday, happy birthday, happy 21st birthday. So, you know, if Devin Booker at 20 years old can still take those steps up as a scorer, then he definitely can become that non-traditional point guard and still run an offense. What makes that offense, part of what makes that offense so great outside of the incredible talent, outside of, you know, a number of things that the Suns do not have at this moment, is the fact that what makes Steph Curry so dominant as a point guard and such a good statistical point guard is that they have to play defense on him as the primary ball handler, who also happens to be a great scorer. Well, if Devin Booker becomes that great scorer and is the primary ball handler, then they're going to have to at times sag off because they're afraid he's going to dish. Well, you know, and so it just opens up so much. I wrote about this on July 4th. That was my 4th of July post. That is the kind of revolution I think the Suns should do. I've been begging for him to try it. And if Earl Watson is gone and his crappy offense is out of here, and now Eric Bledsoe is gone and his isolationist style, God love the guy. I do think he's a great player. Then I do think this is the time now. Start Devin Booker at point guard and just say, let's go. Let's make you into the best all-around offensive player and talent you can be. Don't just be a great scorer. Be a great passer. Be a great facilitator. Find ways, you know, learn how to do this. The Suns game is at 7. It starts in 30 minutes. Probably 7:05. So we're going to stop in about 30 minutes. That is exactly how they should handle a situation with Devin Booker. You put Mike James at 2, and boom, you got a guy that can shoot a lot of shots. When they come up on Booker and double team him, boom, now you got Mike James wide open. Assist. You know, so I mean, it's just like, that's needs to be what it is. See, Mike James is a score first point guard. That's why I don't like him as the starting point guard. I think that's a bad idea. So, I mean, I don't know. You know, Jay Trailer said, I want to go back with traditional offense. That worries me as a head coach. The fact that he's not willing to go, okay, wait a second. We've got a way of making this different and better in the long term. We don't need a traditional freaking offense. Or we don't need a traditional freaking rotation. Put Devin Booker out there now and get that ball rolling. Yes, I did see something about Dragon Better. Watching the pregame show in Florida. What is the name of the planet between... Okay. Oh, all right. That's weird. So that's definitely exactly how we do it. So please, we're now 30 minutes in. Please like, please retweet, please share. When we're on YouTube, go ahead and watch us on YouTube too. If you want, we can live chat with you guys there too. And then when I turn this into post, please share that too. So when it comes, we totally skipped over. It went straight from Eric Bledsoe into the rotation. What up, man? What up, Nick? Into we totally skipped over Earl Watson. So, or at least what the Suns should do now. Jay Triano as the interim could be let go tomorrow. He doesn't necessarily have to be with this team for the rest of the year, for the next 79 games. Now, it sounded like in Ryan McDonough's press conference today that like, you know, hey, we're going to see what Jay Triano can do over the next 79 games. You know, I'm going to presume that McDonough isn't saying that and then sitting back and just watching. Okay, let's see, 79 games. Okay, 78 games. Okay, 77. I think that he's going to now do his due diligence on other coaches around the league, and especially those coaches who are currently not coaching with veteran, you know, with good experience, and then college coaches that, you know, maybe he's had, you know, he's received word. Okay, well, that's fine. No. So he might be the head coach for the next 79 games. My point, though, is in terms of the research, I don't think they're going to wait till after the year to make that decision. I think if they know, regardless of how well the Suns do, you know, if they win 41 the rest of the way, go 41-38 the rest of the way, or if they go 4 and what would that be? 4 and 76. I think what he should do, what Ryan McDonough should be doing, and I'm sure will be doing, is doing his due diligence, going out and just not. You start scouting head coaches. Start scouting head coaches. Find who's the best available. Find what veteran coaches, you know, who have had success might want to come in and just say, you know, hey, can you do 3 years here and start to build this program? I don't think it can get any worse going forward. Boy, don't say that. Every time we've said that, it's gotten worse. He'll be old enough to drink in 1 week. Devin Booker, that is. And then also look at, boy, if somebody wants to lend me $1 billion, I'll do it. Let Bender run at the high post. Yes, okay, so Bender definitely needs to have that kind of role as well. But it has to be in the context of Devin Booker as a starting point. And 5 people trying young talent. Yes. So okay. So Mark Jackson, maybe. Let me just make this a brief point. And I'll go back to Mark Jackson. I promise you have my word. I'll make him the first one that I mentioned. So you know, he needs to then also contact college coaches. You know what? Love Trump or hate Trump, he owned the UFL, if I recall, and they didn't last. So I don't know if we want him to own the Suns. You know, at least Bush owned the Rangers, and they did pretty well. Bennett does need more time. Let's go Suns. Coyotes play tomorrow. Yeah, wait, my Coyotes too. I'm a big Yotes fan. I'll be going to a game next week. So in terms of, he then also needs to look at college coaches. What are the best college coaches? You know, and again, college coaches. Now people have been mentioning Rick Pitino. I wouldn't touch that guy with a 69-foot pole, and I'm going to use that number for a reason. If you get the reference with him, that's fine. But I know that's awful. But this isn't Coyotes talk. This is Suns talk. Now nobody's going to want to come here and Son of the Suns. Not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. You know, not true at all. I don't believe the Suns can still pay them, and that's in the end what they want. So I would not want to go after Rick Pitino, but you know, you start scouting college coaches. I mean, that could be the next very good college coach here. Yeah, but that was also a long time ago. He's done. His career of coaching basketball is just over. So that's what Ryan McDonough needs to do. He needs to start doing his due diligence on veteran coaches, maybe on assistant coaches, but really I would not want to have another head coach that doesn't have experience. I would prefer a retread with experience and who has had success. And success really is just, hey, he had a relatively young team and he made the playoffs. You know, that I will take that kind of success. I really do not want anybody with no head coaching experience. I do wish the Suns didn't have to have had to, I don't know if that sentence made sense, but fire Earl Watson so quickly. Like, I wanted him gone. I just wish that maybe the writing could have been on the wall and each day was just getting worse and worse over like 2 to 3 weeks, you know, and then, you know, in 2 to 3 weeks, they could have done some research and gone, okay, wait, there is this guy available. Maybe we can go sign him instead of going with Jay Triano, who is just an emergency fill, and okay, we're just going to sit with him. I don't like that at all. You must be on the East Coast. I should be watching. Well, I'm not even DVRing it. Oh, well. Let me know. Get Van Gundy would be good. Retread, again, but he's a retread with success. You know, it's like if he'd be down, I would take him, and I think he would have not only the leadership and the, you know, that experience that would be something that the players would be able to, you know, grab onto and expect respect. Trento has some experience, yes, but he hasn't been a head coach with coaching success. So he would be. I do think he would be a good coach. Plus, he's a defensive-minded guy as well. So I mean, you need some defense, you need some offense as well. All right. So the name that somebody mentioned was Mark Jackson. The problem that I have with Mark Jackson is a very problem. Yeah, I know you're talking about Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. The problem that I have with Mark Jackson is probably the very reason why he's not coaching the league right now. And that was his time in Golden State was marred by a situation very similar to what the Phoenix Suns are going through right now, or went through with Earl Watson, in that philosophical, it's just, these guys try to be John Wooden. You're not freaking John Wooden. Be yourself. Other coaches tried to be, Phil Jackson or Pat Riley. You are not Phil. You are not Pat. You have to be yourself. Take what works, sure, if you can make it work. But if it doesn't work, scrap it. And after last season, we need to get closer. We need to be brothers. We need to fight for each other. Who gives a shit? They don't know. I just cursed, and I have never cursed on the show. I do apologize for you children or your parents, the children that are watching. Nobody cares. They're not winning. They're not doing well. It is obvious they were not learning how to play offense or defense. No, I'm not going to do it. I really don't. No. I know. Well, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I just prefer not to on here. So it's just like that's kind of the problem that Mark Jackson had with the Golden State Warriors. Is just they weren't reaching those expectations. That with that roster, obviously they had Steph Curry. They should have. I know, Zappy. That roster, obviously, they should have having a little bit more success. And then it was that philosophical issue that he was having with the players. And so I think he turned a lot of people off in the NBA. To be honest, I don't think Earl Watson ever coaches in the NBA again. And if he does, it's a very long time. I think both those guys are best suited for the public speaking route. Yeah, maybe. I just don't have much time to play video games. I think that both those guys, Mark Jackson, Earl Watson, are best suited for the public speaking route. Or if they're willing to take that step back to go to the college ranks. And you know what? I think Earl Watson should go to the college ranks. Although I say that knowing full well, I think that he's just a terrible X's and O's coach. I think he's probably a pretty good... Gosh, I have so many negatives about him. I was about to say I think he's probably a very good assistant coach. But at the same time, I feel like he's the kind of guy that would undermine the head coach. I'm really starting to get that vibe again, especially because of what Campbell was saying. I've cited him 3 times, and I'll continue to as long as I need to. He was saying that he started to turn the team against, or tried to turn the team against ownership and management, saying it's us against them. What the hell are you talking about? That just Nash doesn't want to coach. That just doesn't make any sense. It was trying to 1% the management when these guys are making so much money. I didn't cuss again. I did not cuss again. These guys are making... I said heck. I can say heck. Come on. No. No. I'm also not dabbing, by the way. I'm not dabbing. Oh, did I say hell? What do I know? I'll accept that one. But I mean, it's just like, it was trying to 1% management with a bunch of stinking rich kids. It's just like, come on, not dabbing. So, to me, it's just, I don't know. I don't think he should be a head coach. I don't think he should be a coach. He's best suited for the public speaking route. He's probably got enough money. He probably can't live on his money for the rest of his life, but to definitely set him up for a while and just go write some self-help books or something. I mean, I do not see him in a basketball, in a basketball related field, especially certainly not a coaching related field, until he learns how to coach X's and O's, which, I don't know about you guys, but that's how I understand basketball is won. Basketball isn't won by hype and energy and love. That's why they lost by 48 points and 42 points, or 44 points. It's won by, Paul Westphal. That would be interesting. No, I think he's probably done too. But it's no. If the Suns win by 40, I'll tell you. If the Suns win by 40, I will dab. But they got to win by a minimum of 40. 39 doesn't even count it. So at that point, I just don't think he's good enough. I just don't. I really don't. He should write a book. Yes, thank you. I'm telling you, that's what he should be doing. He needs to write a self-help book. Player development, maybe. It's just like, geez, who is the realistic candidate then? Okay, I'll give you that answer. Hopefully James Jones can help steer things the right way. I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure what his role is. Would you trade Shumpert and Jimmy Smith? And a first-round pick. I get a pick out of that, because otherwise, Shumpert, Smith, what do they do? I mean, now they're just redundant wings, so no. unless we get a first-round pick. And then why would Cleveland do that? Cleveland loses a scorer and a defensive player, and now they've got a three-headed point guard monster, two of them being Isaiah Thomas and Eric Bledsoe again. And then you add in Rose, who was brought in looking like he might be the starting point guard of the future. Well, not the future, but for the year. And now, so it's just like, you've really got to go and, you got to get a first-round pick for that, and then it just makes no sense why Cleveland would do that. And that's got to be Brooklyn's pick, too, because I don't want Cleveland's 32nd pick. I know there are only 30 teams. What about Boogie? I would take Boogie. So who would be the most realistic coach? If we're going retreads, I kind of do like Van Gundy. And just say, hey, stay here for 3 years. Give us 3 years. Build a foundation. We're going to get one more very good pick. Build that foundation. Bring in that respect. We're going to sign a free agent. Get us to 48 wins. And then if you want to retire, at that point, then you can kind of go after and spend your money and go get, your next big head coach. But, so I really don't even want to necessarily name a name because I just don't know, really who wants the job. But I would want a Jeff Van Gundy type. He knows his X's and O's. He knows his offense. He knows his defense. It is not Bledsoe's fault, and not at all. Watson sucked. He was the worst coach in the NBA. He was the worst coach in Phoenix Suns history, and arguably was the worst coach in Arizona professional sports history. But Jeff Van Gundy knows his X's and O's. He knows his offense. He knows his defense. He has been a winning coach, and he's got a veteran voice and a respected voice that those guys would listen to, or who would be available at the end of the year. Well, I mean, if Ryan McDonough lasts till the end of the year, I would go, I would expect him to, be able to name that next head coach, and I would try to find one of those guys. I just don't want another first-time coach. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. I don't want another first-time head coach. You've got to get a coach that has a voice that guarantees respect and that knows what he's doing in terms of coaching. McHale would be interesting. We didn't know about point guard. We got Knight next year. Whoop! Somebody sending his residence for cover from the Suns' office. That doesn't make any sense. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. My battery says I've got 20%, so I'm still good. All right, so 42 minutes in. We got 17 minutes until kickoff. Tip-off. Please like. Please retweet. Please share when we get this up. Tell your friends, let them know, hey, we do this every Monday, and if you want me to bring this type of energy for the next, every Monday, I can. I just want people watching. I want people to join in. Less watch, more converse. I want to hear from you guys. I want to answer. How many places online can you live talk with somebody and have this kind of discussion? No, one place, Valley Suns right here. I thought Dan is doing okay with the GCU team. Maybe he could be a good... Okay, so Dan Marley, yes, does not have NBA head coaching experience, but he has assistant coaching experience with this franchise. He would absolutely have the ear of the players, and he's had 4 or 5 years now, I forget exactly, I think it's 5 now, with GCU under his belt to have kind of learned his craft. He knows how to deal with young kids. He obviously knows how to deal with veterans because he's been, he was a pro, So, yes, I think Dan Marley should be number 1. And maybe that's why Jay Triano is the interim head coach for the next 79 games. Well, here's the thing. And I've not heard this anywhere else. I have no clue. Use this on the site during the game. Use this to be a live sunshot on the site here. Well, no, because I can't talk and read. But I tweet. I tweet constantly. You can discuss. Live tweet these games. They will not suck forever though. So here's a little theory that I've got. Maybe the reason Jay Triano is the interim head coach for the next 79 games, and Ryan McDonough, I'm in it for 5 minutes. Hey, no, we got 15, man. We got 15 minutes. What's up? Is that he knows he already has his next head coach lined up, or he thinks he's got a really good shot at having his next head coach lined up, but that head coach cannot be here until next summer. What if Ryan McDonough or Robert Sarver reached out, or both, reached out to Jerry Colangelo and Dan Marley and said, hey, we want Marley. We only want Marley. We will pay Dan Marley whatever he wants. Yeah, that shows now. We got another 15 minutes. We will pay Dan Marley whatever he wants. Will you come be the Phoenix Suns head coach? And somebody who said Dan Marley would never leave GCU hanging. He wouldn't, which is why he would not leave GCU right now. But he could leave at the end of the season. And they could then also use this whole season too, this whole college season, to say, okay, who can our next head coach be? Maybe it's an assistant coach. You know, they don't need Dan Marley, in my opinion, at GCU to develop a good program. You know, I mean, Marley, I'm sure having that name does help with recruiting, but it's not like, it's not Kobe Bryant. So it's not like the gravitas world, he recruits worldwide. He has a bunch of European guys, at least other continents. So it's not like they need Dan Marley to recruit. They're not getting those kids in Arizona who otherwise, I was going to go to ASU, but I chose Grand Canyon. No. I mean, he's still getting, no disrespect to any of these guys, and I have a very heartfelt connection to that university. So I mean by this, by no disrespect. He's not getting the top line guys. He's getting, who would be the third, fourth, fifth, sixth string guys on college programs. But that's who he's playing against for the most part. He resigned. He's getting B-level for sure. So they don't necessarily need Dan Marley to go get these kids. So my point is, what if the Suns already reached out to Marley and said, hey, Watson's gone. This team is yours if you want it. We don't think there's anybody else in the country who can do what we think you can do to help resurrect the image of this team and coach a young team to success. And what if Dan Marley said one of two answers? I'll tell you what, I will be there in 2018, or I'll tell you what, call me back at the end of 2017. And so that Ryan McDonough's like, fine. And Robert Sarver's like, fine. We will stake our future on waiting on you. Jay Triano, this team is yours for the next 79 games. You'll be an option if Dan Marley doesn't work out. Not Rick Pitino. Quit with Rick Pitino. No Rick Pitino. We will stake the next 79 games on you and your ability to develop these young guys and get us to that next step, however large that step is. I don't know why not. Why couldn't he be as good as or better than Van Gundy, truthfully? So, what if that phone call was made? And what if they said, Marley, this team is yours. We will give you $5 million. We will give $7 million. Because this is more, what this franchise needs is more than just a head coach to coach X's and O's. They need a rebranding. Literally, they need a rebranding. They need to show people, hey, we are your team again. We are not this kind of black hole of sports, the way the Arizona Cardinals were in the 90s, the way the Phoenix Suns are today. They are a black hole in sports. There's just no arguing that. So they need a full rebranding. Bringing Jeff Gundy in would be good for X's and O's, but it doesn't rebrand the team. Now, if he all of a sudden in 2 years got the Suns to the Western Conference Finals, and they look like, hey, we're going to make a run for the next 5 years. Oh, yeah, that will rebrand the team. But it wouldn't be an immediate change. You suddenly put Thunder Dan Marley, who is already on billboards across the city in purple. You put him on billboards with a fireball behind him, and that's a rebrand. You just brought one of the all-time famous favorite greats of this franchise, and you put him back on that bench. You put him in every freaking commercial you can put him in, and they will sell seats just so people can see him play, see him coach, excuse me. And then, if he is truly good enough to teach the X's and O's that this team desperately needs, then not only is he that brand new face that rebrands that franchise, but then he is also the great strategic mind, or at least the good enough strategic mind to get this roster winning again. Let's make the Phoenix Suns great again. I want to win so much I get sick of it. And I think that there's nobody else that can do that. Can other head coaches make this team a winner? Yes, but nobody can rebrand them. And so I sincerely wonder if they made a call to Ryan McDonough. That's super. To Dan Marley and Jerry Colangelo and said, hey, we will pay Marley more than he can make in his career at Grand Canyon. Come back. And Marley either said, I will not leave Grand Canyon hanging. Leave that seat open. I will see you in the summer of 18, or call me back. Call me back in the summer of 17, or at the end of 2016, 17, or 17, whatever. Call me back at the end of the year, and I will let you know how I feel from there. I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to have half my brain on, am I going to, coach the Suns next year, and half my brain on, I need to coach these kids now. So honestly, I just would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if that would happen. I think our defense would be instantly better if he if he started playing for the Suns. If Marley played for the Suns, no, our defense would be awful. Remember, his last year was 2001. It was 2001 or 2001, 2002, if I recall correctly. He was already slow. If Stat played, no, I think Stat's. I never saw any games when he was in Israel, but I think Stat's slow too. He's not quick, light of foot anymore. And remember, I mean, Stat wasn't that great of a defensive player anyway. Marley and the Suns isn't like 2002 was strange. It was weird. It definitely was weird. But it was great to have him back for that last year. I will never forget that last three hits. That three bounces high. He falls to the ground, falls in. The crowd goes wild. We still lose by 20 or something like that. He is, but it's better than what we have now. Probably. You think Stat's a good coach? I don't know. How would I know if he's a good coach? I would take him back as one of those. Those are good stats. I would take Amari Stoudemire back as player development coach. They fired Mehmet Okur, so I don't know if they're going to bring Mark West up, but I mean, if Amari Stoudemire could, Magic Johnson was a horrible head coach for the Lakers, and apparently he's a part of every single practice, and he talks to Lonzo Ball constantly throughout the practice. Why can't Amari Stoudemire do that? Hell, why can't Steve Nash do that? But I mean, I don't think Steve Nash wants to. He wants to live in San Francisco, but Chris possibly could learn something from Stat. We got 50 minutes. We've got about 10 minutes left. Please like, please retweet, please share, please favorite, please tell your friends. Join us next week, next Monday. We'll be right here. We'll be right back. Hopefully with great news and not, nutty news. Gamble keeps mentioning the Knicks. You think they will step up for Bledsoe? It depends. Are they offering us Kristaps Porzingis? Because otherwise, nope, I don't want anything. Not really. I would take Frank the Tank. I'm never going to pronounce his name correctly. I would take Frank the Tank. I think just everybody seems to want him, so why not? But again, my issue is that I don't want a traditional I don't want a traditional rotation. I don't. We need a big in the worst way. We need a young, athletic big in the worst way, and I think that Devin Booker would be the perfect quote-unquote point guard. I think he would. He'd be the perfect quote-unquote point guard. Hernan Gomez too. All right, fine. I mean, sure. I mean, if that's the best they can get, then that's what they need to get. But, okay, realistically, what do I want for Bledsoe? Realistically, I want a minimum of one first-round pick, unprotected. And truthfully, if he's being traded to a team that is likely to go fairly far in the playoffs, then I want that first-round pick in 5 years. Maybe give me their 2018 first-round pick because it's going to suck, but at least we have 3 firsts, and then give me their 2023 first-round pick, unprotected. Do what you did with Dragic. That was, people complain, well, Goran Dragic, that was Ryan McDonough, that was Robert Starr's fault. Fine. They got a first-round pick from Markieff Chris. Jeez. For Markieff Morris. Boy, I don't know what's wrong with me. They got a first-round pick for Markieff Morris that ended up turning into Marquise Chris. They got 2 first-round picks for Goran Dragic, one that comes due this year that looks to be pretty decent, and another one's completely unprotected in 3 years. 4 years. 4 years. I would take Jahlil Okafor, too. If we're going for player, I would take Jahlil Okafor. I don't want a point guard. I want Devin Booker at point. I do. And so I want them to reach that point where they're just like, screw it. We've got no other choice than to play Devin Booker at point guard for the next 60 games kind of thing. And then, boom. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, that's just... But again, Isaiah Thomas... I don't know. It's impossible to go back and really figure out exactly what went down. And then behind the scenes, how much did the public stuff affect the trades? And then how close the Suns possibly having a good trade that, maybe slipped through the fingers? Or could they have gotten more? I mean, had Thomas kept his stupid mouth shut. Lakers are better than the Suns today. Yes. We're going to get nothing Bledsoe because Ryan is... How is it Ryan's fault? I just don't see that. We need Booker to work on his game. Yes, but that's why... We do need Devin Booker to work on his game, but we need to work on it as point guard. That Brooklyn becomes less valuable than winning. Straight swap to Cleveland. Charles Barkley jam would be fun, if nothing else. Yeah, I mean, Brooklyn's doing okay, but they also lost Lynn, so I mean, they're a little thin at guard. I mean, they get one more injury, and all of a sudden it's like they're losing 20 games in a row again. So but yes, realistically, that's what I want. I want 2 first-round picks. Give me a first-round pick this year. Give me a first-round pick in 4 years, 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. Do what you do with that with Goran Dragic. And if you have to take on a big-time contract that blows, but I would do it just to guarantee 2 first-round picks unprotected, and then use those as trade chips. If the Suns aren't going to get any great free agents in the next couple of years, Chris Bled pick for Boogie. Which pick? I would trade Miami's. But that's the point. That's why I would want 2 first-round picks. 1 now on a good team that's going to be light that they don't need, and then 1 in 4 or 5 years. 3, 4, 5 years. And because then if you aren't very good, then you have your good pick and you can trade the other one for something or to trade up. But then if you are good, then hopefully then that other pick is opposite. And so it just gives you options. The more options you have, the better. I'd be happy. The Brogdon would be okay. I mean, I want us to win now too. Don't get me wrong. And apparently so did Eric Bledsoe. But okay. Now let me talk about this. Let me mention this. Suns so bad we can bletch bed. I know. Oh, dude, go back as soon as this broadcast is over in about 5 minutes. Go back and watch my first 15, 20 minutes. I'm telling you, the biggest mistake the Phoenix Suns made was saying go home. That was the biggest mistake they could have made. I don't either. All right, go back and watch the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I promise. I was so hyped on energy. I don't blame him at all. I blame him for speaking, and I blame the Suns for sending him home. Suspend him. I mean, why did they do that? The Suns and Browns fans just shoot me. Hey, I don't know, man. Kurt, I have no clue. It makes no sense. But all right, so, oh, shoot, what was my point? What were we talking about? Did I mention did I give any keywords? I just had a point. Okay, so it wasn't about Watson. It wasn't about Bledsoe. First round picks. Exactly, suspend him. Should have suspended him, but it was before that. Oh, where's I going to go? I had one more point about winning. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so here's the problem that I have. We wanted to win. We wanted the Suns to make those trades for those stars. We wanted the Suns to go after those free agents. And all of a sudden, it's okay, we're going to tank. And it's like, all right, they're tanking for 22 games. They're tanking for 22 games last year. That's all they did. People say, well, they've been tanking for 8 years. No, they've been tanking for 22 games. That's it. They have literally been tanking intentionally for 22 games. So, that was the end of last season. So then it was the timeline. Well, they have to tank more, get another pick. It worked for Golden State. It worked for Oklahoma City. Blah, blah, blah. All this losing crap. And I was one of the very, very last people to just put my foot in and go, I guess, if that's what we're doing, I see the idea. I get it. I get, okay, you want to lose because you want those great draft picks. Fine. It sucks. I hate it. So, then it's like, yeah, we're tanking. We're going to lose 60-plus games. Woo! The timeline means we lose for a year again. And really do it hardcore this time and try to, it's all BS. Well, then, a guy like Eric Bledsoe, who really kept his mouth shut last year. I mean, he did mention his displeasure, but he otherwise kept his mouth shut when he was benched for those 22 games. And then, apparently, I heard today, kind of kept his mouth shut all summer about wanting to be traded because he thought, oh, there's a chance we might get Blake Griffin. Oh, there's a chance we might get Paul Millsap. Oh, there's a chance the Suns are actually trying to improve. So it's like, maybe I'll stay here. He apparently had no problem being here. Well, then it's like, nope, we're not getting. Well, Griffin was never, ever going to come because he was just using the Suns as leverage. Everybody knows that. If you don't believe it, then, you don't get business. Millsap, I think they could have had. But, again, maybe they made the right decision long-term not signing him because of his age. But Ryan McDonough, that term timeline is not Ryan McDonough's term. It is not his term. It might be his philosophy, but it's not his term. That term is fan-made. So okay, so it's like, all right, timeline, losing, let's suck. And then you have this one veteran in his prime who's pretty damn good, who then goes, what the hell, I'm wasting my time. I don't blame him for wanting out. I don't. I wish he had kept his mouth shut. It was incredibly immature and unprofessional of him to speak out like this, especially to subtweet it so passive aggressively. It's like a 3-year-old. But I don't blame him. But that's the point, is that everybody bought into, hey, let's lose, not realizing that, hey, these are still 13, 15 guys on a roster and coaches who have emotions, who have opinions. Ciao, man. I'm getting off in 2 minutes. Who have opinions, who have selfish egos. Can you blame them? No. And so we're just thinking, hey, it's going to be hunky-dory. It's going to be great watching 66 freaking losses this year. And then you got a bunch of players going, this freaking sucks. We have to live this. You guys get to watch and then go to another job and forget about us for a couple days. And then you watch for a couple hours. And we have to live this. So it doesn't shock me at all that Bledsoe did this. Again, I wish he hadn't. It was immature and unprofessional. But at the same time, this is what we get for encouraging the timeline. If you don't think that the fans can have an influence, you're wrong. Fans can't influence because it's still a business. If all of a sudden fans decide, hey, you guys are going to intentionally lose, we're not watching, we're not showing up, we'll pay attention when you're doing well, you know, then that might have influenced some opinions. I mean, the Suns go about things a little bit different. Maybe Ryan Starver's businessman maybe goes, hey, whoa, this is really backfiring us, and, you know. But instead, we've got hashtags and T-shirts and hats, and people are, you know, banners are changing. It's like, embrace losing, and now it's, what do you expect to happen? So, you know, I wish I'd opened with that, but I didn't even think about it until the last 5 minutes. We got a game starting about, we've got a game starting in about 3 minutes, so I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna be live tweeting the entire time. I can't wait to talk to you guys. No, we should not trade Bender. So, you know, boy, this was a fun show. Man, this was a fun show. This is a great show. It sucks that, well, hire me as something, because I need a job. I've got multiple jobs, but I would love to work for that organization. You have no idea. I don't care if they're in a black hole. I mean, I bleed this color. Yes, no, thank you. I do this for you. You guys are the best. When we play other teams, they're like, whoa, this other team are good. Yeah, I know. This is a passion show. Mr. Rich, I promise you're going to love this episode. I promise. No, you guys are the best. I promise. No, this is the podcast. This is the podcast. I do this live, and then I upload it. I truly don't have time to record a second show. This takes some... You should rant. I need a topic to pull that out. That's a total emotional rant. That's a totally emotional rant. This was such an emotional week. That was just a natural explosion of passion. You know, I'll do my best. I'll try to find something to rant about. I swear. I'll try to make that a point. But, you know, this is a passion project, but I have to juggle life around just to be able to get this hour in. If I could do another hour and do a live, a podcast, I absolutely would. It's just too difficult. So if I can figure it out, I will. It's really hard. So this becomes my podcast. I upload it to YouTube. You can totally stream it on your phone and, you know, listen to it from that sense. But when do we trade Bledsoe tomorrow? Probably the next 48 hours, yes. Suns fan, I appreciate you too, man. You're the best. You guys are the best. I love you all. Thank you very much. I will see you here in a week. And I'll tell you what, I cannot make a promise because of my schedule this week. But if the Suns trade Bledsoe tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, or, you know, between tomorrow and next Monday, I will do my very best to do a live show. If nothing else than a half an hour, I will do my best to do at least a half-hour show the night of the trade. So I will let you guys know. Anyway, I'll see you guys in a week. Please like, please retweet, please share on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're not streaming on Facebook, but YouTube. Yes, Emergency Impromptu Podcast, YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope. I'll be live tweeting the Suns game. I just got to go grab the boys just around the corner, and I'll be live tweeting. Can't wait to see this. I want to see Jay Triano's offense. I want to see this Suns roster. I can't wait to watch this team actually play some coordinated offense and some strategic defense. It might not happen today, but it's coming. I really feel it's coming. We got rid of the worst head coach in the league, like the worst head coach in Phoenix Suns history, the worst head coach possible in Arizona sports history. It sucks that Eric Bledsoe is doing this thing, but I think this team is going to rally around Jay Triano. I think they can rally around this new idea, we have to finally have reached rock bottom. It can only be up from here. Have a good night, y'all. See you probably later this week. Peace. Go Suns.